Stray Kids have many interesting facts that fans may not know. Today, we will count down the top 8 things you probably didn't know. Let's get started. You think you know Stray Kids. You've memorized every lyric, every fanchant, every complex layer of the SKZ-verse lore. You see them as the loud, chaotic, self-producing powerhouse of the 4th generation. But let's be real for a second. The camera lens is a filter, and it only captures what it is meant to see. In this industry, insiders often say that the truest version of an idol exists in that fleeting 30-second window right after they step off stage, when the adrenaline crashes, the heavy breathing takes over, and the silence finally hits. That is where the mask slips. That is where the human breaks through. We've dug deep for this one. We've sifted through the whispers in the styling rooms, analyzed the unspoken tension in the back of frame during variety shoots, and pieced together the fragments of personality that often get edited out. Tonight, we aren't talking about official profiles or scripted answers. We are diving into the nuanced, the whispered, and the barely there details that paint a completely different picture of 8 boys trying to navigate the storm they created. From the leader's hidden burden that cameras rarely catch to the quietest member's loudest silence, these are the shadows behind the spotlight. So, turn off the lights, put on your headphones, and really ask yourself, are you ready to meet the real Stray Kids? Because what we're about to unravel might just change how you look at them forever. This isn't just trivia, this is the untold atmosphere of the backstage. Let's begin. Number 8. IN, the iron gaze behind the baby bread smile. We start this list with the one member who has arguably mastered the art of deception better than anyone else in the group. If you've been in the fandom for more than a day, you know the drill. He's the adorable maknae, the baby bread, the one who gets showered with affection and seemingly just smiles through the chaos. But strip away the fan edits and the bubblegum variety show captions, and talk to the people who actually watch the rehearsals from the shadows of the wings, and a very different portrait emerges. There is a specific kind of silence that falls when Yang Jongin stops smiling, and it is deafening. Insiders who have worked on their set designs and wardrobe fittings often describe a sudden shift in the room's temperature, an aura switch, that is almost terrifying in its precision. While the older members might be the ones shouting instructions or hyping up the energy, IN is the silent observer, the one scanning the formation with eyes that don't miss a single misstep. Picture the scene. It's 2 a.m. in the JYP practice rooms, the humidity is high, the mirrors are fogged up, and everyone is exhausted. When the music cuts, most would expect the youngest to be the one collapsing or looking for reassurance. Instead, observant staff have noted that he is frequently the one standing perfectly still, monitoring the playback with a chilling, CEO-like intensity. There's a rumor floating around the production teams that he is actually the shadow leader when it comes to vocal perfection. He doesn't critique with loud words, he critiques with a look. It's a sharp, piercing glance that says, "We can do better," without uttering a syllable. This isn't the boyish charm you see on Instagram. This is a professional who grew up in a survival show brutal enough to break grown men, and it forged a core of steel that he rarely shows to the public. He knows exactly how the camera perceives him, and he plays into the cute image because it's what is expected, but don't let the dimples fool you. Underneath the designer knits and the shy giggles lies a terrifyingly ambitious artist who holds himself and his hyungs to a standard that borders on military discipline. So, the next time you see him flash that signature bright smile on stage, ask yourself, is he smiling because he's happy? Or is he smiling because he knows he just executed the perfect performance and you fell for the illusion completely? And if the youngest holds this much power in his silence, what on earth is hiding in the chaos of the others? Number 7. Soo-min, the architect who haunts the JYP hallways. If you ask the security guards who patrol the JYP building in the dead of night, they will tell you that the lights in the vocal practice rooms almost never go out. And if you listen closely to the whispers of the trainees who pass by those soundproof doors, they often speak of a voice that loops the same 4 bars of a melody for hours on end, bordering on madness. This is the Sung-min that the variety shows don't quite capture. On screen, he is the clean-cut dandy, the savage puppy, the one with the polite smile and the organized lifestyle. But dig into the accounts of producers and sound engineers, and you uncover a level of obsession that is frankly terrifying. We aren't just talking about practicing hard, we are talking about a clinical, almost scientific dissection of sound that would drive a normal person to exhaustion. There are stories backstage legends, really about his infamous vocal journals. While other idols might be checking their phones or catching a quick nap during breaks, Seungmin is reportedly seen scribbling furiously into notebooks, documenting the condition of his throat, the humidity of the room, the specific angle of his jaw during a high note, and exactly where his resonance hit on a scale of 1 to 10. It's not just singing to him, it's engineering. He treats his instrument like a high-performance machine that requires constant microscopic calibration. Insiders describe sessions where the producers are happy, the track is done, and everyone is packing up, but Seungmin is the one pleading for just one more take because he heard a ghost of a breath that nobody else, not even the mixing equipment, picked up. He is fighting a silent war against imperfection every single day. It's a lonely kind of dedication. While the chaotic energy of the group often takes center stage, Seungmin's battle is internal, quiet, and relentless. He isn't relying on natural genius, he is building his legacy brick by painful brick, refusing to let his vocal cords rest until they submit to his will. The scary part? He makes it look effortless. He walks out onto the stage in front of thousands, fixes his in-ear monitor, and delivers a pristine performance that hides the hundreds of hours of repetitive, grueling isolation that built it. He is the anchor that never drifts. But have you ever stopped to think about the weight of that anchor? If the vocalist is this rigorous, this unyielding in his pursuit of the perfect sound, imagine the pressure cooking inside the minds of the members who are responsible for the group's very identity. We're moving deeper now, and the shadows are getting longer. Who else is hiding a storm behind a smile? Number 6. Lee No, the silent commander in the shadows. If you think you understand the enigma that is Lee Min-ho, think again. On the surface, the internet has painted him as the unbothered, 4D character who threatens to put tissues in air fryers and stares blankly into the void. He is the king of tsundere behavior, the cat butler who seemingly operates on a different frequency from the rest of the group. But ask the performance directors, the camera operators, and the veteran dancers who have shared the floor with him, and the narrative shifts dramatically. There is a terrifying level of professionalism that radiates from him the moment the cameras stop rolling a residue, perhaps from his days as a backup dancer for the biggest act in the world. He knows exactly what it means to be invisible, and he uses that knowledge to control the stage with a precision that is almost unsettling. While the other members might be nervous or hyping themselves up in the chaotic minutes before showtime, insiders describe Lee No's pre-stage ritual as a plunge into absolute, icy calm. He doesn't fidget, he doesn't panic, he becomes a machine. There is a rumor among backstage staff about his Hawkeye. It is said that during rehearsals, while everyone is gasping for air and chugging water, he is the one silently walking the perimeter of the stage, checking the stability of the props, the slickness of the floor, and the spacing of the members with a critical, unblinking gaze. He notices the loose cable that could trip someone 3 songs later. He notices if a member is favoring their left ankle just a fraction of an inch too much. He doesn't make a scene about it, he simply adjusts. He moves a mark, he signals a stagehand, he whispers a correction to a younger member that fixes a formation instantly. It's a silent, thankless guardianship. He isn't the official leader, and he isn't the loudest voice, but in those high-stakes moments where one wrong move could mean injury, he is the safety net that the entire group unknowingly rests upon. This is the secret that the chaotic variety clips hide. Lee No is the backbone of their discipline. His savagery is often just a mask for an intense, overwhelming desire to protect the team from failure. He demands perfection because he knows the cost of mediocrity. Watching him monitor a playback is like watching a surgeon review a complex procedure. His face is void of emotion, but his mind is dissecting every frame. He doesn't offer comfort in the traditional sense. He offers solutions. He offers survival. And that cold, impenetrable stare? It's not indifference. It's the look of someone who is constantly calculating the odds, ensuring that when the lights hit, his family is invincible. But if the dancer is this calculated, what about the ones who pour their souls into the lyrics? We are about to enter the territory of raw emotion, where the silence is replaced by a noise so loud it might just break your heart. Are you ready for the next revelation? Number 5. Changbin, the fragile heart inside the vibranium armor. We have arrived at the halfway mark, and we are stripping away the most deceptive layer of them all, the muscle, the noise, the comedic genius, that is Seo Changbin. To the casual viewer, he is the loud, gym-obsessed Dwaki, the king of Jutday, the one who never runs out of energy or volume. But ask the producers who have sat with him in the claustrophobic silence of the recording booth at 4 a.m., when the jokes have dried up and the cameras are packed away, and they will paint a picture of a man who is startlingly, almost painfully fragile. There is a reason he writes the most gut-wrenching, introspective lyrics in their discography. That darkness doesn't come from a character he plays. It comes from a deep, resonant well of empathy that he carries around like a heavy backpack every single day. Insiders often whisper about the Changbin paradox. He built his body to be impenetrable, a literal tank on stage, but his emotional boundaries are porous. He absorbs the anxiety of the room. When the group is stressed, staff members have noted that Changbin is often the first to crack a joke, not because he is oblivious, but because he is desperate to lift the heaviness off everyone else's shoulders. He is the emotional lightning rod of Stray Kids. He takes the hit so the others don't have to. You see him laughing on variety shows, but do you see the way his eyes linger on a member who seems slightly off? Do you notice how his hand instinctively finds the shoulder of the person who is struggling, grounding them with a touch that is surprisingly gentle for someone with that much power? The dark rapper persona is a vessel for a sensitivity that would paralyze a weaker person. He isn't just rapping fast, he is purging. Those aggressive, spitting bars are his way of screaming the things he cannot say in polite conversation. Behind the scenes, he is described not as the loudmouth, but as the deep thinker, the one who stares at the ceiling of the studio for hours, wrestling with self-doubt and the terrifying burden of principle. He holds himself to a moral and artistic standard that is suffocating. He fears stagnation more than he fears failure. So, when you see him flexing or screaming into a microphone, realize that you are watching a man fighting a constant battle to turn his profound vulnerability into a weapon for his team. He is the softest soul in the hardest shell. And if the muscle of the group is this emotionally exposed, what about the member who is often reduced to just a pretty face? The visual who is fighting a war against his own reflection. Number 4. Hyunjin, the tortured artist trapped in a prince's body. We have reached the member who is often reduced to a single breathless word: visual. The camera loves Hyunjin. It devours him. But if you talk to the people who witness the terrifying process of his transformation, the stylists, the creative directors, the choreographers, they will tell you that his beauty is merely a byproduct of a much darker, more obsessive internal war. The prince image is a convenient label, but the reality is that Hyunjin operates less like an idol and more like a method actor who is slowly losing his mind to the role. There is a reason why his solo performances feel less like choreography and more like an exorcism. He isn't just dancing, he is bleeding out emotion in real time, and the toll it takes on him is visible the moment he walks off stage. Insiders describe a chilling atmosphere during his solo practice sessions. While others might be drilling counts or checking angles, Hyunjin is reportedly searching for a feeling, a specific visceral texture of pain or passion that he needs to physically manifest. There are whispers of him repeating a single hand gesture for 45 minutes straight, staring into the mirror not with vanity, but with a critical, self-loathing intensity that borders on disturbing. He is looking for the ugly inside the pretty. He wants to destroy the perfect image the world has handed him and rebuild it into something raw and undeniable. Staff members have mentioned that interrupting him when he is in the zone, that state where his eyes glaze over and the music seems to possess his limbs, is genuinely intimidating. The drama llama persona you see on variety shows? That's his release valve. That's him trying to be a normal 20-something because the artist inside him is constantly screaming for perfection. And then there's the silence of the dorms. We know he paints. We see the beautiful canvases he posts on Instagram. But have you ever stopped to think why he paints? Those close to the group suggest that the canvas is the only place where he can make a mistake without the world tearing him apart. It is his sanctuary from the suffocating pressure of his own face. He pours the chaos of his mind into oil and acrylics because words aren't enough. When you look at his art, you aren't looking at a hobby. You are looking at a survival mechanism. He is a perfectionist who is terrified of being nothing more than a pretty picture, so he works until his body gives out to prove he has a soul. He is the most beautiful storm you will ever witness, but make no mistake, it is a storm. And if the visual is fighting this hard to be seen as an artist, what happens to the ace who was born with too much talent for one body to handle? The The one who can do everything, but sometimes struggles to simply breathe? The prodigy is up next. Number 3. Han, the high-voltage genius on the brink of silence. We are entering the top 3, and the air is getting thinner. We have reached the member often hailed as the ace, the quokka, the comedic relief who can rap faster than you can think and hit high notes that defy gravity. But strip away the chaotic variety show persona and talk to the audio engineers and lyricists who have witnessed him in the raw, unfiltered moments of creation, and you will find a mind that is running at a velocity that is frankly terrifying. There is a specific kind of exhaustion that comes from being Han Ji-sung, and it isn't physical, it's the exhaustion of a brain that simply never turns off. Insiders often describe his songwriting process not as a skill, but as a possession. While other artists might struggle for days to find the right melody, Han is known to disappear into a corner of the waiting room, stare blankly into space for 20 minutes, and return with a fully formed, chart-topping verse that devastates everyone in the room. There is a rumor among the production staff about the 5-minute miracle. It's a phenomenon where he writes a demo in the time it takes most people to order coffee. But here is the secret that the cameras rarely focus on: the crash that follows. The moment the creativity is purged, the ace shuts down. Observers backstage have noted that the loudest member in the room can become the most invisible person on the planet in the blink of an eye. Those noise-canceling headphones he wears everywhere? They aren't a fashion statement. They are a lifeline. They are a do not disturb sign for a soul that is constantly overstimulated by the world around him. He is an introvert forced to live an extrovert's life, and the toll it takes is visible in the way he sometimes clings to the other members, physically grounding himself when the anxiety of the spotlight threatens to sweep him away. This is the boy who wrote Alien not as a concept, but as a confession. He feels like a stranger in his own life. The staff sees it in the way his leg bounces uncontrollably under the table during interviews, a release valve for the nervous kinetic energy that fuels his genius. He is a Ferrari engine inside a sedan, constantly revving, constantly on the verge of overheating. He gives you everything: the laughs, the bars, the vocals, but he keeps the silence for himself because it is the only thing he truly owns. He is the most talented person in the room, but he is also frequently the most fragile, balancing on a wire of brilliance and burnout that would terrify a lesser artist. And if the genius is this close to the edge, what about the member who is defined by his angelic warmth? The one with the voice of a demon and the heart of a saint? We are approaching the final 2, and the secrets are about to get physical. Are you ready for the deep end?
Number 2. Felix, the sunshine that burns to keep you warm. We are at the penultimate secret, and we are about to dismantle the most beloved illusion in the entire industry: sunshine. Everyone knows Lee Felix as the freckled angel, the brownie, baking fairy, the boy with the voice of a demon and the smile of a cherub. But talk to the physical therapists, the chiropractors, and the emergency medical staff who are on standby at every concert venue, and the story changes from a fairy tale to a tragedy of sheer will. There is a terrifying physical cost to being the stan attractor, and Felix pays it in silence every single day. While the fans scream for the deep voice and the sharp dance lines, insiders describe a young man who treats his body with a reckless, almost sacrificial disregard for pain. We've seen the back injuries in the headlines, but the reality backstage is far grimmer than a press release. Witnesses have described moments in the wings where Felix is practically carried by staff to the edge of the stage, his face pale, wincing with every breath only to flip a switch the second the lights hit him. He explodes into movement, throwing his body into the choreography with a violence that makes the medical team cringe, smiling that blinding sunshine smile while his body is screaming. He doesn't just perform, he's martyring himself for the audience. There is a quiet devastation in watching him backstage, peeling off the back braces and the K-tape, looking not like an idol, but like a battered soldier. He apologizes to the staff for being troublesome while he's the one in agony. That kindness? It's not just personality, it's a deflection. He is terrified that if he stops smiling, even for a second, the magic will break and he will just be the lonely boy who left his entire family in Australia to chase a dream that hurts him physically. And that brings us to the loneliness. Late at night, in the hotel rooms on tour, staff have heard him speaking to his family on the phone, his voice dropping to that famous subsonic rumble, but soft, small, and thick with homesickness. He carries the weight of being the perfect idol, the one who can never be sad, never be angry, never be tired. He burns his own energy to keep the fandom warm. He is the sun, yes, but remember that the sun is a ball of fire that consumes itself to give light. He is the most fragile, physically, yet arguably the strongest mentally, enduring a level of chronic discomfort that would break a normal person, all for the sake of a 3-minute song. But if the angel is breaking his own wings to fly, what about the God who built the sky he flies in? We have one name left, the Creator, the Father, the one who started it all. Are you ready to meet the man who hasn't slept in 7 years? Number 1. Bang Chan, the shepherd who bargained with sleep for survival. We have reached the end, the final secret, the one truth that binds the other 7 together. If you walk past the JYP building at 5 a.m., when the city of Seoul is finally quiet and the sky is that deep pre-dawn indigo, you will see a single light burning on one of the upper floors. That is not a security light. That is Christopher Bang. The best leader narrative is cute, but the reality is a psychological thriller. Talk to the producers, the janitors, and the night shift security who see him roaming the halls like a ghost, and they will tell you that he isn't just hard-working. He is terrified. He is a man who has fundamentally rewired his biology to exist without sleep, because he believes that the moment he closes his eyes, everything he built will crumble. There is a legendary story among the trainees about his laptop. It is said that he clutches it with a grip that turns his knuckles white, carrying it everywhere like a nuclear football. It isn't just music in there. It's their careers, their futures, their very lives. Insiders describe a level of responsibility that borders on pathological. When the members are eating, he watches them take the first bite before he even picks up his fork. When they are at the airport, amidst the flashing lights and the screaming crowds, he isn't looking at the fans. He is counting heads. 1, 2, 3, 7. Always 7. He is the shepherd who cannot rest because the wolves are always at the gate. The dark circles under his eyes that are covered by layers of concealer, they aren't from partying. They are the battle scars of a leader who stays awake, editing vocals, approving budgets, and fighting management so that his kids can sleep soundly in their dorms. This is the tragedy of Bang Chan. He has sacrificed his own youth to ensure they get to keep theirs. He absorbs the hate, the criticism, and the pressure of the industry into his own body, acting as a human shield. When you see him crying after a win, look closely. That isn't joy. That is relief. That is the look of a man who just realized he managed to keep his family alive for one more day. He is the architect, the father, and the martyr of stray kids. He sold his sleep, his health, and his personal life to the devil of the K-pop industry. And in exchange, he bought a future for 7 brothers who would have been lost without him. And as the sun rises over Seoul, and the light in his studio finally flicks off, you have to wonder, who is watching the watcher? Who protects the protector when the camera stops rolling? That stay is the ultimate secret, and it's one he will never let you answer. Gemini Bricata. And that is the reality behind the perfection. The next time you see them smile on stage, remember the shadows that built it. These aren't just idols performing a routine. They are 8 human beings pouring every ounce of their soul into a dream that demands everything. Understanding the cost of their magic doesn't ruin the illusion. It only makes them shine brighter. Thanks for listening. Stay curious.